Hello and welcome to the iCandy Duo podcast. I'm your host, Naomi Williams. This podcast is brought to you by iCandy World, makers of beautifully British pushchairs for parents across the globe. We're delighted to be joined on the iCandy Duo podcast by Smith MBE, British gymnast and 4 times Olympic medal winner. Since retiring from the sport, Louis has lifted the famous Strictly Come Dancing glitterball trophy as well as turned his talents to the West End stage. Louis is now expecting his first child, so we caught up with him about life after the pommel horse and how he's feeling about fatherhood. Hello, Louis. Thank you so much for being on the iCandy Duo podcast. You well this morning?
I'm very good, thank you very much. Ready to start enjoying the weekend. I'm very good, thank you.
Yeah, I have to say, as I sit here, it's actually starting to snow where I am, which is a bit, it's very much a stay indoors kind of day, I think. But
I was out salting and gritting all the driveway last night, just in case, and woke up this morning to just a bit of drizzle. So,
you're a good man, salting and gritting. I don't think I've ever seen.
Well, the thing is, it's the whole reason why we're here. If the baby comes in the middle of the night and it's 2-3 inches of snow outside and we ain't going anywhere, I'm going to have a really tough night.
You are, because exactly
so just trying
that.
To be prepared.
Congratulations, you're expecting a baby girl, and that's, your due date must be pretty close coming up. How are you feeling about everything? Like you say, you're salting, you're gritting, you sound like you're getting very ready for it.
Just like you said, I'm just trying to stay ready. Apparently the head's all engaged and it could be any minute now. So I'm just trying to keep on top of every kind of eventuality. If I'm out, I make sure my phone's not on silent. I grip the roads because I've got a BMW. I can't get out of my drive if it snows. So we have to go in the girlfriend's car. Got our bags packed. So just trying to be as ready as we can.
Exactly. Yeah.
And then it's just the waiting game, isn't it?
Oh my goodness. You made my heart flutter then. I feel the suspense for you. I'm like, it's like, how ready can you be? But how are you feeling about having a daughter?
I can't wait. I absolutely can't wait. I'm very, very nervous. I know Charlie is as well. But we're very excited as well. But we've got great people around us so that when this whole kind of COVID issues kind of settles down a bit, that we can help and rely on. But no, we're excited. We're nervous. And I just keep asking myself like thousands of questions and possibilities and eventualities. I'm thinking about birthday parties that she's never had yet, and what am I going to be like when she tells me the first time she's got a boyfriend and things like this. So it's all very nervous stuff.
I have to say, because my brother's got 2 daughters, and he was going through the same process actually when his first Martha was about to come into the scene, and he did say actually when he held her, he knew at that point his life was over by having a daughter. He just knew, he was like, I'm just going to worry, like this is my life now. I'm just going to panic. You announced it really beautifully on your Instagram page, and you kind of captioned it with like doing life on my terms. Has the news that you're becoming a father given your life like a whole new direction?
Yeah, it has. And I always prepared that would be the case. I think a lot of the things that I've done in my life have always kind of been revolved around gym and doing things for myself. But now, my life has definitely taken a turn in the fact that I'm going to be responsible for kind of nurturing a small baby's life to adult existence until they can fend for themselves. So I'm in a very new boat. I've never kind of had to experience anything like this. I think the closest thing would probably be looking after my dog, which taught me to grow up very quickly. So I'm sure this is going to be no different as well. Yeah,
no, absolutely. And actually you mentioned gymnastics, and I've spoken to quite a number of different, top level athletes like yourself. Where, your life is so focused and so geared. And you started gymnastics when you were 4. So, you've really had a very strong sense of, dedication and and commitment, which is, when you want to be that level of sport, it really demands. I mean, you're still in your early 30s, but you can sort of boast a 25-year career, which is kind of insane, really. You've done more than most people in a really short space of time. You've also racked up some insane achievements as well, like sort of 4 Olympic medals across 3 Olympic Games, and when you won bronze in 2008, you were the first British male gymnast to win that Olympic medal since 1908. I've reread that a number of times this morning. I'm like, oh, behave, Louis. That's an incredible achievement.
Yeah, it's quite an achievement. Without patting my back too hard, it was quite a drought that we've had in the gymnastics game to get a medal. 100 years is quite astonishing, really. But yeah, that's kind of where it all started for me.
Yeah,
19 years old, Beijing, a little baby, myself, and
I've
had a fantastic career. I've been very lucky, I've been very blessed to have not only had any kind of major injuries or setbacks, and I'm very grateful.
I think like you say, 19. I think what I was doing when I was 19, and it's a world, it's a polar apart. But I suppose it must have been, you must have been so mentally and physically more mature, I guess, than the average 19-year-old. How did you kind of cope with that, all that fame and that attention, and how do you think that's kind of built you to the man that you are now?
I guess you can say it's been a journey, a real journey, a learning one. 19 years old in Beijing. I was very young, but I was also very experienced in terms of the gymnastics game. I'd been competing at a senior level since I was about 15. So by the time I got to the Olympic Games, although I was very nervous, I kind of knew what I needed to do on the day, and then just kind of hopefully let the result take after itself. But I got a bronze medal, which is great. But, since Beijing, it's been an absolute learning curve, just trying to kind of be comfortable with who I am and the new life that I'm leading, in front of all these people and press and the public and stuff. It was a real challenge for me, especially because being so young, I didn't have anyone around me that I could kind of ask for advice or support from that was kind of going through or had been through the same sort of thing. I just had to kind of learn along the way of kind of dealing with kind of being in the public eye and the fame and all of that stuff. And it kind of wore me really thin. It kind of wore me down to the bone, just because I was trying to live 2 different lives. I was trying to live the life that I'd always known up until that point, where I could do what I want and kind of get up to mischief and hang out with my friends and, be a 19-year-old lad. But then on the other hand, I was suddenly this role model that had been thrusted into the public eye, haven't won a medal in 100 years, and who's this new kid on the block? And I was being pulled in 2 different directions, and it was very, very difficult to try and learn how to deal with that.
I can imagine, actually, because you spend all that time leading up to that point just focusing on the sport, and actually just achieving what you want out of it. And then I suppose this celebrity was kind of a sort of weird symptom that you were never kind of necessarily prepared for. You had your coach, Paul Hall, from the beginning. And I get the real impression that you guys are, incredibly close, because obviously you must have shared so many of those experiences together. You were even on Celebrity Who Wants to Be a Millionaire together. So you got to trust the man, you really got to believe in him, come on, dude, don't let me down kind of vibe. But, he seems like he must have been a very inspirational man for you. And also, whilst you were going through this, he must have been quite a strong role model, perhaps, for you.
He was. My coach Paul is a fantastic human being. I idolize him and I look up to him so much. I probably spent as much time with him as I did my own mum, and I've been traveling around the world with him since I was 11 years old. Doing my first competition in America, and my mum literally hands over the baton of protection to my coach whenever we go away. So Paul has always kind of been that father figure that I've never had. And, I learned so much kind of under his umbrella in terms of how to kind of be respectful and try to be punctual and, all kind of things like that. And kind of the militarizedness of gymnastics definitely helped as well. But yeah, I mean, my coach Paul is kind of like, the father I never had. And I also got to see him and his children grow up and how he interacted with them. And, all those kind of little nuances and kind of feelings kind of rub off on me. And hopefully I can implement those things when I become a father.
I suppose, yeah, because when you say you kind of with him so closely from the age of 11, I suppose there was a lot of times where you were missing out on kind of your own normal family life, if that makes sense. Like you're saying, your mum would kind of, this lovely kind of like passing over, going, right, okay, you're off with Paul now. But because of that level of trust. But so I suppose it must have been kind of lovely seeing, being with him and, his children growing up and kind of having that sense of, belonging and, that closeness with him, whilst you were away from your normal day-to-day life with your mum. But I mean, so, you're no stranger to change. I mean, obviously you did that for such a long period of time, 25 years, it's crazy. But since then you've really gone into some interesting directions, you've gone from, gold, but like bronze medals and all this Olympic medals to holding a glitterball trophy when you won Strictly Come Dancing in 2012. Yeah. I mean, I suppose it should be surprising that going from gymnastics to dance isn't that big a leap, but that must have been a wonderful thing to do and and try it out. And obviously you've kind of gone on to trying out more musical theatre and kind of going into various different shows like Rip It Up in 2019. I mean, do you think maybe the stage is where it now lies for you?
I hope so. I really do hope so, because I kind of treat the kind of musical theatre industry kind of like gymnastics. I'm kind of starting from scratch again, and I'm learning all these kind of different new techniques and skills and trying to develop my skills within the industry. The first ever kind of show, like musical theatre show I did was 2016. And each kind of show that I've done since then has been a little bit more dancing, a little bit more acting, a little bit more singing. And I'm enjoying the process of learning, that kind of craft. A lot of people go to college and learn these things from scratch. And I've kind of had to try and take a quick shortcut route, but also try and apply my skills as best as I can, because I'm under no illusion and you can't just learn these things overnight. So I try to work as hard as I can when I get these opportunities. And I'm just really enjoying it, being on stage and performing and having people really appreciate what you're doing on stage is it kind of fills that gap of what I miss competing and representing my country. So I look forward to the day when, we can all go to the theatre again and enjoy a good show and hopefully one of those I can be in.
Oh, no, absolutely. I have to say, I mean, there's lots of things with this whole period of lockdowns and COVID and all this kind of stuff. And I suppose on some level, we're all kind of like finding our way through it. But, the lack of arts and just, all theatres being closed for such a long time. I know I feel it. I love a musical. And there's, like you say, I can imagine from coming from the kind of the stage of doing gymnastics to the, theatrical stage, it's that same sort of entertainment you get to really show off your art and your skills. And I think the world misses it deeply, and I know I can't wait to go back to the theatres. So hopefully once they are, everybody will be rushing back. And I can see like your videos on Instagram where you're kind of still practicing your dancing and stuff. It's like that all will come in handy. You'll go straight on, and it'll be like no time has passed.
I can't wait. It really has took a massive knock, hasn't it? The kind of the arts industry, and I think the sooner it can get back safely, the better.
Oh, absolutely. It's, we're probably on the precipice of all running out of something to watch on TV, and then you watch people go up in arms about it.
I feel you. I've done about 1,000 Zoom quizzes.
Yeah. Absolutely. We actually did a kind of like a fancy dress murder mystery as our Christmas party, which was...
Oh, that sounds interesting.
Yeah, it was basically like a usual team meeting. Just there was a couple of fake moustaches, that kind of thing. It was...
We'll have to steal this one.
Yeah, I'll send you the files. It's a
Spice
good,
things up a little bit.
It's a good giggle, yeah. In the lack of other sets of entertainments, this is what we're driven to now, But I mean, it's so lovely actually to talk to you, because I've spoken to so many mums, which is brilliant. A lot of new mums, a lot of, obviously when you're talking about anything to do with the pregnancy and birth journeys. Obviously, women are the ones that you go to for these conversations. But it's so good and so important to hear the other side of these things. Because, I recently spoke to athlete Danny Rowe, and she went through quite a journey through her pregnancy, and she was having to go to the hospital on her own and receiving sort of, information that she obviously wouldn't want to have. You'd want your partner next to you, with every step of the way on these things. And obviously, I assume like Charlie's probably been going through the whole thing like that herself. But how have you felt not being able to be there throughout that?
There's been a lot of touch and go and a lot of goalposts being moved by the government and stuff about things you can and can't do. Quite luckily for me, I've been allowed to attend a lot of the scans and things like that. So it's actually been okay. But Charlie's been in tears some nights, kind of reading up on, sometimes there's leaks from the government of what they're thinking of doing. And they, Charlie's been saying, what if you're not allowed to go into the birth? I need you by my side and stuff like that. So I think if that was the case, I think my feelings are kind of quite irrelevant at this point. Don't get me wrong, I'd love to be there for the birth of my child, but I care more about what Charlie's going to have to end up potentially going through on her own. And I know probably a lot of people will end up in that situation anyway, I said, but, I'd want to be there to support her and kind of help get her through that, especially it being the first child as well. So I just want to be able to be there and be able to support her. And I think if I couldn't do that, then it'd probably be very, very hard on Charlie. But yeah, I don't know, it's a very difficult one, isn't it? I'd love to be there, but I also want to be I want to be as safe as possible as well. And I appreciate that, the NHS are already stretched thin, and, it's a very difficult time for them. But, if this, vaccine starts to kind of we see the effects of it, and we are able to kind of be in there, and I'd be very much appreciative.
No, absolutely. And at least that's kind of like a nice comfort in some way that your daughter will be entering a world where we see a light under the tunnel at the end of the tunnel now. It's not quite as really uncertain. If it was this time last year and we're just about to go in, at least hopefully she'll be born into a different world sooner rather than later. But also one thing from what I've learned from a lot of women that I've spoken to that have gone through exactly what gone through childbirth on their own, they've all said at the other side, like, it's incredible how resourceful women are. They go straight into mother mode and they just get on with it. It's that, okay, I'm on my own.
That instinct, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So, it's probably not much of a comfort at this stage to her because it's probably quite nervy and it's nerve-wracking, I'm sure, with or without a pandemic. But no, bless her, it must be quite a lot on the mind. We were talking earlier about gritting the roads. You sound like you're sort of like a dutiful man, like helping the councils out. It sounds wonderful, but what else do you think do you feel like you're prepared? Like you've got your bags packed, you've got kind of like the nursery set. Is Luna the dog prepared for someone new? How's the household at the moment?
The house is I'd say almost ready. I think what I would like to do as well is kind of baby proof as many things as possible. So when she starts kind of crawling and learning to walk, and make sure that the kind of the cabinets and edges of things are kind of padded up and stuff. But all the rest of the house is pretty much, I think, ready. We're waiting for a mattress to be delivered for the cot in the nursery, and a nursing chair. But apart from that, everything is done. I painted the nursery myself. I tried to do a little mural myself,
nice.
Which I think turned out not too bad, considering I'm not the most artistic. But yeah, we're as ready as can be, apart from just kind of then experiencing what it's actually going to be like. And Luna, on the other hand, she's crazy. She's a husky. Yeah. So we've had to get a few kind of like baby like partitions,
right?
Like the barriers.
Yeah.
So we've cornered off the kitchen and living room. So if ever we're in the living room with the little one, she doesn't come rushing in when she's all excited.
God love her. Yeah.
And yeah, just trying to teach the dog, I think, when the baby is around, for her to approach in a more calmly manner than jumping around and going crazy. So I think that will be a learning curve for all of us. But Luna's such a softie. I mean, whenever I'm away and whenever Charlie's out of the house, we send Luna to this lady's house. She's a dog sitter, and she's always got loads of dogs around there. So Luna's used to kind of being around other dogs and in packs and stuff, and being very chilled out and mellow. So hopefully it's not too much of a learn. I think she's probably just going to want to lick her. Yeah. That's what she does. She just loves licking people's faces. So I've got to try and keep her away from giving our little one too many kisses.
Oh, she'll probably become the little one's like guard dog. I see that a lot as well, where they just become like instantly like, okay, I'm looking after you. We're pals.
Yeah, I think that dogs are usually quite smart as well, aren't they? Yeah. They kind of know when there's a new human in the pack.
Yeah.
So yeah, hopefully she has that instinct.
Especially for a husky dog. I mean, they are. You're right. They are mental, but they are just wonderful. Like, they are such characters. So yeah, you're gonna have quite the household. Of madness going on. But I mean, you know, you've mentioned in your autobiography that you were yourself kind of one for mischief when you were younger, and you know that actually gymnastics was a fantastic portal for that. Do you think if your little lady turns up and you see that same sparkle in her eye and go, oh, she looks like she might become a little bit like how I was when I was a kid, you know? And I always think, you know, no great story started with a sensible kid, did it really? So, you know, it always needs to have a little bit of mischief in there. Do you think you would encourage the same? You know, it doesn't necessarily have to be gymnastics, maybe theatre, you know, sort of going to theatre schools and stuff like that. Do you think you'd encourage that as a way of kind of venting that extra energy as well for her?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, I think even if sport or musical theatre isn't something that she would want to do long term, I think you learn so many different things in life from doing things like sports or kind of applying yourself to like musical theatre or learning to sing or act. You know, you pick up so many life lessons and things. So I think definitely we'll get her into kind of after school activities. Because it's good. It teaches them to kind of work as a team and problem solve and all of these kind of hand-eye coordination things. So definitely love to get her involved, being active and doing something different. If she's anything like me, then good luck to me and Charlie.
Your mum will find it so funny, I'm sure. She'll be like, oh, there you go. A little one like you.
My mum tells me I was running at 9 months old.
Oh my God, that doesn't really surprise me.
Which is crazy. But when you look at it, you know, it kind of makes sense. I've been able to do what I've done in gymnastics. But yeah, we'll keep a close eye on her, and I think we'll apply her needs.
Yeah, absolutely. It's just like it's such an exciting time, you know, just on the precipice of meeting her and finding out what she's going to be like. But Louis, you know, I cannot believe we've been chatting for 35 minutes. So, I mean, I can't believe the time's gone so quickly. We're having a lovely chat. I almost want you to get over here and do my grip my drive. You know, it's been wonderful.
Is it still snowing where you are?
It is. It's just such a miserable sort of January day out there. I'm just going to lock myself away, I think. But yeah, what about yourself? Is it still looking the same, or is it clearing up?
It's just drizzling, I think, a little bit. Oh. Yeah, it's nothing great. I got stuck on my drive trying to leave to go work in the morning the other day, and I was trying everything to try and get out, pouring table salt on the drive.
Yeah,
I was tempted to go and get some alcohol and start pouring that down, try and melt it, but yeah, it was a nightmare.
Oh my God, I love how this is like your concern at the moment, which I totally get, because you're just thinking, if I need to get out of this house really quickly with Charlie, how can I do it? And it just, you know.
Yeah. A lot of people said to put cardboard boxes under your tyres. So we've got a load of cardboard downstairs just in case it goes bad.
Brilliant. I mean, your poor neighbours must be like, what is that man doing? You know, it almost looks like a mix of like voodoo, you know, with trying to move out, you know, with the boxes and laying all sorts
like, what's Lewis up to now?
Yeah. Brilliant stuff. Well, oh my goodness, do let us know how everything goes. Cannot wait to see the first pictures of your little lady come through. And
thank you very much as well for you guys and your help and support.
Oh no,
it's much appreciated.
Oh, absolute pleasure. You know, absolutely. And Yeah, cannot wait to hear more. So look, take care, Lou. It's been so lovely talking to you. And
Thank you. Likewise.
We'll catch up soon. To find out more information about the topics covered in today's podcast, please go to the iCandy blog page on www.icandyworld.com/ICLife, where you'll find all the relevant links. iCandy is a proud supporter of Great Ormond Street Children's Hospital charity. COVID-19 means the hospital is facing new challenges and needs more support than ever to continue the life-changing care and research for seriously ill children. If you are able to support GOSH, please head to our dedicated fundraising page on www.justgiving.com/company/iCandy.